Hi, my name is Eric Nagel. With me are Nick Wong and Brigham Oliver. We are the BoardScores team at the University of Utah, and we are the creators of the BoardScores application. It's an application where you can score board games, and you can create custom rule sets and share them with your friends and with the community. And you can also discover new rule sets that you might not have seen or thought of before. So the problem with board games today is that they are often difficult to score. You can have a lot of pen and paper issues that can arise. You can be confused about exactly how to score it. There can be a lot of math involved if you get into some difficult games. And it can be difficult to coordinate who has what tokens in between players in the room. So we've created the BoardScores application to try and make that easier for board game players, to help people enjoy their board games more and spend more time playing them and less time scoring them. Our app can be used by a variety of users. It can be used by people who don't know how to play games, because the BoardScores app will score for you. It can be used by experienced players who just want to score faster, or it can be used by gaming enthusiasts who want to create their own rule sets or their own games. I'm going to walk you through now how to use the application to create and play and score games. So here's our main screen. Here you can see all sorts of games that are in the application. But first, this is a social application that has a lot of community-driven features. So we're going to start by getting you logged in. So you'll head up here, tap to log in. I don't have an account yet, so I'm going to make a new one. We'll go simple, we'll call me Eric. We'll use my email address and a password. Great, now I'm registered and we can see my profile page. This profile page is editable. My first name is a pretty boring name, so if I wanted to make it something a lot cooler, I sure can. And here I can add a bio, where I can tell people the type of games I like, the type of games that I like to play. Now let's create a rule set. You can use BoardScores to create a lot of difficult rule sets for a lot of difficult games. That's where the application shines the most, is in making complicated games easier to score. However, for the purpose of this demo, let's go with something a little bit simpler. Let's say I like to play phase 10. So, if I like to play phase 10, I will search for the phase 10 game. And let's say I want to make the rule set. A phase 10 rule set already exists on this app, but let's show you how to make one. We'll call it Eric's phase 10. This game takes anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes to play. Say 2 to 8 players. Here's where I would write down all of the rules and the different ways to play. I could copy and paste that from online or write them myself. For the purpose of this demo, we'll skip through that. Now here are the scoring rules. How do we score phase 10? Well, I picked phase 10 because it's an easy game to score. Let's Google it. And here we are. Here's the scoring rules for phase 10. So let's add it. Cards that are from 1 through 9. You will enter how many of those cards you have, and they are worth 5 points each. For cards 10 through 12, you will enter how many you have, and those cards are worth 10 points each, so we'll multiply that value by 10. For skip cards, you'll enter how many you have, we'll multiply that value by 15. And lastly, the wild cards. We'll take your inputted value, and we'll multiply that one by 25. Now Phase 10 doesn't have this, but you can do all sorts of cool things with BoardScores, including all of these other mathematical operators. And you can even use previously existing rules. So instead of user input, I could say I multiply it by the number of 10 to 12 cards you have, and so on. But for the purpose of Phase 10, we will just multiply this by 25. This can all be edited, of course, but let's continue. Alright, now let's play our game. We can look for it by searching for it. We search for Phase 10 and we see all of the Phase 10 rule sets that are here. We see that Josh and Brigham Oliver and Mary have already made rule sets for us. We're going to play the one that we created. So, let's go to our rule set. Let's play. We're going to hit play game right here. Now, let's add another player because I am playing with my friend Brigham. And now we play the game, and at the end it's time to score. So, at the end of the game, I have 2 6s in my hand, and I have a wild card. Brigham has a 3 in his hand, and a skip card. Now seeing here, we should see that I should have more points, because wild cards are worth more than all the other cards, and I have more cards in my hand. So let's score. We see that I do have more points. Fortunately in Phase 10, it's like golf scoring, so I lose. Now we can click here to play again, and an interesting thing is, down here you'll see the room code at the bottom middle of the screen. Anybody else who has the BoardScores app can enter that room code and see exactly what I see, and modify the cells exactly as I can modify them. So that way people can enter in their own values, so that one person isn't responsible for entering everybody's values. So now we're back at the rule set page. I liked this rule set, so I can upvote it. I can also leave a comment. Now let's find some more games to play. We searched specifically for Phase 10 and created our own rule set, but a lot of users won't be doing that. They'll be looking for new games to play. If you scroll to the right from your main page, you'll be able to see new lists of games that you haven't seen before. You'll be able to see things like what are the most upvoted, and what are recommended based on games that you've been playing recently, and what are some things that we think that you'd like to play next. So for example, let's take a look at what's up here at the top. This is a modification of 7 Wonders called 6.5 Wonders. And here's the manual, and here's a bunch of comments that people have left. So let's talk the technical aspects for just a second. This is an Android application created using Android Studio with a Java front end. There's also a front end database using Room Database that allows for offline play and reduced latency. There's also a backend that is hosted on Azure that was written in C# and uses ASP.NET framework. Thanks for checking out our application. That concludes the demo. Really excited about this project and excited for the way that it can make playing board games a lot easier, a lot simpler, and a lot more fun. We look forward to answering any questions that you have. Thank you.